So last week I talked about fire damper inspections, and that kind of got me thinking. I wanted to do something to talk about sort of the differences between a fire damper and a smoke damper. And I think the best way to go through that is if you see below, and if you look in the post, there'll be a link to a fire damper and smoke damper basics fact sheet, which kind of goes over those differences. But I'm going to use it to kind of talk about some of those differences. Now, the main difference here, a fire damper is used to limit the spread of fire, while a smoke damper is used to limit the spread of smoke. Now, they're both going to be installed in air transfer openings or within ducts, but a fire damper is going to be actuated based on heat, and it's designed to stop fire from moving, while a smoke damper is going to close upon the detection of smoke, and it's just limiting that spread of smoke. So fire dampers can be two types. You can have actuated and non-actuated. So actuated means we've got an electronic solenoid that's going to open and close that fire damper, and we're going to rely on like a heat detector or something like that and the fire alarm to trigger that. Or a non-actuated one's going to have like a fusible link in it, and the fusible link's going to fuse, and it's going to cause that damper to just kind of shut and latch. Smoke dampers, they're typically going to be actuated with the fire alarm, and we're going to use smoke detection, whether that's going to be a duct detector in the ducts or area smoke detection. All depends on the design of the system, and that's going to, upon the detection of smoke, send a signal to the damper, close that damper. Now we can have a combination, so you can have a combination fire and smoke damper, and fire dampers need to conform with the requirements in NFPA 80, and smoke dampers need to conform with the requirements in NFPA 105. So if we've got a combination, it's got to meet the requirements of both NFPA 80 and NFPA 105. Now, a little bit about where these are required. Fire dampers are used when we've got an air transfer opening or a duct going through a fire-rated assembly. So whether that's a fire barrier or a rated floor assembly, that's where you're going to see fire dampers being installed. Smoke dampers are installed if you've got an air transfer opening or a duct going through a barrier that is meant to limit the spread of smoke. So in NFPA 101, we might be required to have smoke compartments. We might have smoke barriers or smoke partitions. If we're sending ducts through those, we're most likely going to need a smoke damper in that location. Now, inspection, testing, and maintenance. Chapter 19 of NFPA 80 is going to cover inspection, testing, and maintenance of fire dampers, while Chapter 7 of NFPA 105 is going to cover the inspection, testing, and maintenance of smoke dampers. Now, if we have a combination, we've got to meet the requirements of both. But in general, we're looking at inspecting and testing them at installation, 1 year after installation, and then 4 years after that, or 6 years if we're in a hospital. So every 4 years or every 6 years, we're going to be re-inspecting and testing those. So again, I highly recommend you check out that, the fact sheet we've got below goes over a lot of those basics, and interested to hear your experiences with inspecting and testing smoke dampers. I know it's like an added level when you've got the fire alarm typically involved with all that. What does that look like? Are you doing those in-house? Are you having someone come out and do those? Interested in hearing that conversation. Drop a comment below. Thank you.